Hey, what's up, Hussein? This is a quick demo video for you for your Korbanth Hero. So wrap this up. As you know, I was waiting on recharge ports to come in. I got my shipment in today, so that was the last thing I needed for this guy. I was able to do it up pretty quick. The most time-consuming thing on this for me is the control box. There's just so much going on in here. You got your two LEDs, your two switches. Switches need to fit right. That takes the most time for me. And then also on this guy, I've done these previously for people. I had one that actually didn't end up doing. I hated the way that these buttons spun, or these switches here. And I think I was going about that the wrong way. So I'm gonna have to reach out to the guys that I did this for previously and see if they want me to fix that for them, which I'll do. I made the buttons on this guy, or the switches on here, in the clamp card. So your front button here, that's your activation, and then your back button, or your back switch, that's gonna be your tactile switch. I don't know why that clicked with me all of a sudden, but clicked with me on this for whatever reason, and I spent some time modeling up the holder in here to hold those switches and rearrange everything in here. So yeah, I'll be getting a hold of the guys who I've done this for previously to see if they want this new setup. I installed this with a Proffie V2. It does have CCSabers LEDs in here. It's a Goth chassis. To get to everything, what you want to do is just open it up from right here. And then you'll find your kill key right here in your recharge port. When you flip this over and look in here, there's your Proffie board right there. It is easy to get your SD card out, put your micro USB connector in. I do use a 90-degree angled USB connector for this guy as well. It just worked out better that way. If you wanted to, you could pop that board up from here, and you could put a regular one in and then just reach your finger in there and pop it back down, because it is a press fit down into that shelf. It's not glued, but you can do everything from here and not move the board at all. The chassis is actually, it's slid in all the way, and then there is a set screw underneath this control box that holds the chassis in, and then a separate screw that holds the box in place. So everything's locked down there. This has a 21700 battery in it, so you're gonna have some long battery life. You don't have to worry about this dying on you. Let's take the kill key out. So you've got this set up here between red and green when the blade is off. I know you're going to be doing your own configuration, so just to have something to demo, I put the exact same config that I just put on the Creepy Uncle video that I uploaded earlier today. So same stock fonts, same blade profiles, but you do also have this exact configuration for your LEDs on every sound font. And your config file is on your SD card. So when you get this, you can see what I did and then just build off that if you want to. But you've got motion controls. LEDs are lighting up. Nice smooth swing, it sounds good. Back here is your auxiliary. We could twist off. Now if you didn't want to do that, you could just hit the activation button. Tap it. Turn the saber off. Now, putting a blade in here is kind of tricky, or it's just a little bit different than other sabers. The first thing you want to do is unscrew this top piece. This will come off just like that. So while I've got this in my hand, this grenade section will unscrew. I've got it pretty hand tight. Gotta put some man in it, right? Just tighten it up a little bit. It will unscrew if you go trying to loosen it up. But you don't want to unscrew this piece. I just didn't adhese it down or anything like that. Your battery is sitting about in between this area right here. But there's just nothing going on there. Either you unscrew this piece or you unscrew the top that I just took off. You don't do anything here. So once you've got this off, this is the part that's a little bit different. This fits around my test blade because I've sanded my blade quite a bit. It fits down here. You may not be able to see that on camera, but that thing, I mean, this thing's been sanded and beat up over the course of a year and a half now, to the point where, you know, it does fit in here. This is very small. If it's if it's 1 inch, I'm not sure. I haven't mic'd it. It might be 0.99, but you want to take this and you want to slide it over the bottom of your blade first, like that. And then we'll put this down for a second. You've got two set screws. You got two set screws in there. You got one right here, and you got another blade retention down here. You need to back those out. So we're going to back those out now before we put the blade in. Just like that. And then we want to put this blade in, engage it all the way, and then lock down the blade with those two set screws. Lock it down, obviously, before you slide this guy down. Now we've got that. We've got those set screws engaged. And we're going to take that emitter piece and slide it down. It's even tight on my test blade. And then we're going to just screw it on. Motion controls are cool until they go off when you don't want them to. But that's no big deal. You can take that off your config if you want. I tend to like having them, so I just kind of give them to everybody. So now I've got this on. I just use the activation. And what we want, I'll put this over here so you can see your LEDs. So what we want to do is hit our auxiliary to change sound fonts.
Smooth gray.
You could do that if you want. Twist it off. If you hold down your activation for a second or two and then let go. You get your sound tracks, right? Same thing to turn it off. Hold it down for a second or two and let go. That turns it off.
Smooth Jedi.
Flash on clash.
Teensy.
Like I said, just stock fonts. Little bit of blade profiles I was playing with on the Creepy Uncle. I just had that config handy, so I didn't spend too much time on that, knowing that you would change it anyway. All working. We'll just cycle through a few of them.
Smooth. Smooth Jedi.
So you can see this thing is pretty loud. It sounds great. The blade is super solid in the emitter. So if you have to end up sanding your blade, I would just suggest you pay attention to the blade depth that you have in your emitter. Sand a little bit past that so that this guy can kind of slide up as you're putting your blade in, and then you can slide it back down. But really it helps hold the blade in, because when this thing's not engaged and screwed on all the way, even with those two grub screws holding on to the blade, it is just a tiny bit wobbly. Well, it's wobbly anyway, because this piece right here that we had to slide on, that's what is the diameter of the blade. It's not the emitter. So we're going to take the blade out. Trying to do it without setting the saber off. Slide that up, and then we'll loosen up these set screws. So when you loosen up these set screws to take your blade out, you're going to have to engage them back into the emitter before you put this piece on, or it won't clear the threads. So we'll take that out. kind of pop this off, just like that. And then we'll put these set screws back on. So you and I talked about this saber before I started working on it a few days ago. And I plan on talking to you one more time about it before I box it up and send it to you. Just make sure that you don't have any questions. Let me put this back on real quick. Screws right back on, you're good to go. And then to kill the power, obviously, we're just going to want to put our kill key back in. So this has one of my kill keys. I print just a generic kill key. On this one, I had to lop the two sides off of it so that I could put it in here lengthways like this, right? So if I got it in here like this, the handle fit, this piece fits on fine. If I have it spun around horizontally, it doesn't fit so well. It's a pretty low profile kill key place for it, but if you have it like that, it works just fine. And then it goes right over there. So that's your saber. Let me know if you got any questions. I'll talk to you later, and then hopefully this goes out in the mail to you tomorrow. Thanks.